I'll ask you also about the bending technique that you use for bending strings. I noticed that when you're playing the blues, you get a really nice kind of intense sound when you're bending the strings. I mean, is it something that you're aware of, or have you got?
I don't think it's actually something you particularly want to be aware of, really.
Right.
Because there's several different ways of bending it.
Yeah. Could you maybe go
Sure.
through a couple of things? And
if you, I mean, I think I don't think. Well, that's pretty fast for a vibrato,
Yeah.
so. But you can bend it. You can bend it straight if you like. That gives you the option to go up. If you can't really go up on that.
Have you got a particular preference for? I noticed that sometimes that you bend in a downward motion, and sometimes you bend strings in an upward motion. Have you got a particular preference to which one that you use in any particular position or lick?
Well, obviously for certain strings, bend up, and for certain ones you bend up. I mean, you can't.
Is there a basic sort of rule of thumb?
Well, I would say there is. I mean, if you're on the G,
right,
you've got an option. You can either bend up or bend down.
Okay.
If you're on the B or the E, your only option is really up.
Right. And with the G string, is that basically something that you choose at the time, or you always bend down? Or
It depends on the lick you're playing.
Right.
If you're playing just a straight lead lick, like, then you would bend down.
Right. Okay.
Well, I do anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know what anybody else does. But if you're playing, so you're bending up because you're using the next two strings, so you can't really bend down or you're going into them.
Right.
So it's a question of logistics.
Right. Okay. So could you maybe show us a lick? I noticed you're playing around the B minor sort of position there.
Yeah.
Could you show us a lick where maybe you're bending the top two strings in an upward position and then changing to the downward on the G string and the sort of sound that was? Because I noticed they're quite different sounds that you get there.
Oh, they are.
By doing those.
Well, we'll keep it in the
Quite
B.
interesting.
So the up would be. At the end of that, the G was bent down.
Right. Okay.
So you still, if you're bent.
Excellent. I noticed that you're using some of your other fingers to support the bend as well. Is that something that you've picked up from somewhere, or just something that's developed naturally in your playing?
Because obviously it's developed naturally, plus there's a small cut in my hand, which doesn't help matters any. I don't have particularly strong hands.
Right.
So, and I've got very small fingers, so it's easier just to back up.
Right.
And I use heavy gauge strings and I use as well.
So is it just basically if you're using the third finger, you use the second finger along with it, and sometimes the first as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I'd like to talk for a second about vibrato.
Yeah.
You've got a nice, bluesy sounding vibrato, just a nice sounding vibrato anyway. Could you possibly show us a little bit about that, or if there's one particular type you use, or more? Or?
No, there's several. I mean, it depends on exactly what you're playing, how fast you're playing. In this instance, we're talking blues. But then again, I play all my leaders based basically on blues, as most rock music is anyway.
True.
But within that, there's several different ways of doing it. A lot of it depends on the tempo of the song.
Okay.
Even down to the key of the song sometimes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, it does for me. But it's basically it's a preference thing. I mean, that's what the blues is about. It's about how you feel it.
Mm.
So where you would put a vibrato in is entirely down to what you're hearing and what you want to put across.
Could you maybe show us a couple of different vibrato ideas? Just so we can see your technique, basically.
Well, basically, if you're playing a... mid-tempo vibrato.
Yeah.
but that's because it's a slow song.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean to say you have to do that every time. You can, depending on the urgency of the note you're hitting and where you're hitting it, where the gap is.
Okay.
Because again, that's got a lot to do with the blues. You go for the gaps, and you want to leave gaps.
Okay.
You can leave gaps very easily by using fast vibrato, like.
Because I noticed that when you play, you cut the note off real quick and then let the effects, take a little bit of a come through, which sounds really nice.
Yeah.
So okay, so how about I just noticed you were playing a little minor 12 bar there.
Yeah.
So how about if we go around that, just 2 or 3 times and play some stuff and see what happens, yeah?
If you're up for it, man.
Hey. Okay, I'd like to move on and talk a little bit about one of the things I noticed that you used in the first part of the video was you tend to mix between the major and minor sounds of the blues quite a lot. I think I noticed a couple of times you that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Could you go through a couple of those things? I also noticed up at the